Hello and welcome back. Back on this spaceship painting, and yeah, hopefully we can make some good progress on it today. There's some really important decisions coming up on it, especially what to do with this kind of floorboarder back here. Looking at it in my own time, I was thinking I might want to move this. I don't know why. I did it so low down. Shouldn't have been done so low down. How do you do minus? Ah, there you go. Right. So we're just going to start the stream off by moving that to there. Now it looks a little bit further back, you see. Okay. Oh, we're still on yesterday's brush. Still on the paint style brush, yeah. Yesterday's stream was quite fun actually, even for how short it was. I don't know if this one's going to be another short stream. We'll see. The deadline is 30 minutes, but I might spend a little bit longer if I end up enjoying it. I think I've just been so burnt out doing all the other stuff lately on this art channel, getting all the microphone audio and just writing new music, new camera, all of that sort of stuff. So. Been just working on a lot of basic quality improvements for this channel, and I think they paid off. I think the quality of these streams, and maybe I'll try and record a video even today. But yeah, and the quality of the videos should be much better. Should be much better now. So we got the audio and the video on lock. Still doesn't look quite right, does it? It doesn't look. This whole background, I feel like, all of this wall, it's like it's hard to judge how far away it's meant to be. There's something wrong with it in some way that I can't quite put my fingers on it, but this just doesn't quite connect. Maybe it's the kind of non-round shape of it. Maybe some of this is going to want to be. Maybe I could do this with the liquify brush, but some of this metal is actually going to want to stretch into a different kind of shape. I'm trying to illustrate that here. We'll see how well it goes. Yes, I think it should be kind of like, there you go. Actually, that's nice. That's nice. Yeah, so it can be a really organic shape then, and it, kind of a. Every tile's a little bit different then. You've not just got this square, this same tile just being repeated over and over and over again. Each one's got its own, you know what I mean? Its own completely unique shape. Well, I mean, it is still mirrored, but you know what I mean. Oh man, that's some good audio. Right. That means we don't have to worry about these guardrails either, which is nice. One issue though is it still doesn't look like it's quite connected to the wall to me. Should be receiving a lot of light on the top as well from the light coming from the window. And one way that can make it look a lot closer to the wall, of course, is some occlusion shadow. Let's try breaking out the blur brush just a little. Maybe you can get rid of these brush strokes as well, actually. See how that looks. Whew! I just love that about painting, especially painting in digital. You can just make something look so good so quick. The shadow still doesn't look right though. Not quite connected to that wall. I think the wall might end up needing its own texture, and this window might do better to actually be more of a wrapped shape, more of a shape that's more, similar to the floor tiles, how they've gone, something like that. And I think the wall might benefit from just being a bit darker generally. Yeah. think the back wall might just be a little bit too bright in itself. There is going to be some light coming from this light that surrounds the window, though, so we'll have to figure that out. I don't know what texture to put on this wall either. I could do with some kind of like hexagonal tiles, maybe? Should we see that? You know, and then the whole wall would be all these hexagonal tiles. I really hate those sorts of repeating patterns. I hate doing scales and tiles because it's just kind of monotonous doing the same thing over and over again. It's like this floor, but you know, this floor was like the one place I was willing to sacrifice and do something a bit tedious to get a nice result. And I really like the kind of, it does look like just a giant golf ball, which is kind of exactly what I was going for. I think it looks super futuristic. And like I've said before, I feel like it would have some grip on it, because any water on people's boots would go down into the little holes. You know, I'm just trying, I don't know why, I just always so tempted, even though all these things that I paint are so impractical, especially like the machines. I mean, what are these two purple controls even? What do you do with them? But I still just can't help but often put these kind of form over function ways of thinking into my paintings. And I think we should finish off these metal tiles for now and put them in, and then, you know, and this whole design can change of the walls if we really want it to, you know. I'm not locked in with anything. I did kind of like the idea of the gyro stabilized floor, and the metal, these metal shingles kind of stop that from being possible, but oh well. We'll just have to go with that idea another time. I think it might, will it be even darker here? It is kind of, it should be a bit more Fresnel effect, because this part of the wall is more at a steep angle to the camera, you know, it's a little bit more like a horizon. We'll see. We'll just follow the basic pattern for now. Pattern. It's all about patterns, and I will never stop speaking about that, because that is true. If you want to really get good at this painting, especially imaginative realism, which is probably the most difficult kind of painting, it's all about patterns, trying to learn the right patterns, because that's how humans generalize things and make something very complex very simple, is by looking at the patterns and exploiting them. More you know. I don't know where's best. I'm always struggling with this dilemma, but like, where's best to put the seam line, especially once it goes behind this computer. Yes, there's one there, and probably like that. There's a bit of foreshortening too, because like I say, this is more side on to the camera. I think that's about right. Very rough, you see, because we've just done the very beginnings of it. But you know, we are kind of slowly spreading out. Like I say, this painting is really my first attempt at what I like to call outgrowing. So we painted this at kind of full detail and as kind of a sticker. We just spread that initial sticker out slowly. See, got it a little bit wider, and we maybe got ahead of ourselves a little bit doing the lower detail stuff. We did indeed start to work out the composition earlier than I thought, but that's still the base philosophy. I'm trying to work out from this center part, you know, working to higher and higher detail, and that's all part of detail management. A big trick to manage detail is to grow it out from areas. It's a good trick to manage general consistency as well, by the way. We are actually just glazing onto the glass there, which is a kind of a cheat that you shouldn't do. You should think about the actual value of the glass mixed with it, and the consequences for doing that are saturation. This wants to be a lot more green, but because of the way I just painted it in there, it's not going to be. So I'm still gonna have to then find the right value and paint over it. But it's a nice marker. You see what I mean? It made it, because that was grey. It doesn't look right, and it will look right when it's more green. Still not the right value, but I'm just trying to demonstrate it. You see, doesn't have to be perfect, right? Well, not yet, anyway. Might need to pull the grid up, which I don't like doing either. I always try to get asymmetry, but my brain just loves symmetry so much I just can't help myself a lot of the time. Trying to follow the general roundness of the floor that's already there. See how we're painting this one with a kind of a different method, because we already know what the aim is, what the target is. So why use lot strokes when few strokes do trick, you know? Yeah, we might want to pull up the old doohickey fairly soon. Get a read on just how symmetrical this is. It looks about right though, and it looks like a nice place to work too. I feel like, you know, that's what I'm kind of going for. I just want this to look like a really nice, like super bougie, you know, really high-end kind of nice place to work, you know. No compromises, you know. They've got all the best gear. It's put together nicely and built to last, you know. This control room is built to last like 1,000 years. I'm gonna have to space the tiles out in my imagination again. Something like that. Maybe I can use the grid for that actually and compare it to the tiles on the on this side, you know. It'll be like a straight line across. Just line them all up the height, really. Okay. And then there'll be like the highlight running through here, which I'm just gonna kind of choppily put in for the sake of the composition. See, when we zoom out, it looks normal, even though they're very these are very crude brush strokes. And you see how I haven't even mixed the color yet. Still, we don't mix colors here. We just color pick them, and then later we'll. I suppose I don't know. It's not the way I want to work, but it must be the most efficient way, because I always end up doing it using the color picker loads, and then I slowly start to lose saturation when I do that. And then I come in and do kind of a color abstraction pass where I play with the colors a bunch, and I don't know, it just seems to work a lot of the time. It does seem to work. But it might not work for something like this, because this central item has already been through enough filters, you know, like I can't filter that anymore. I would have to select things before I filter them now with this larger composition. Well, that metal floor I think worked a lot nicer than I was even expecting, you know. Very happy with that. I love the shape of this window, but maybe it is going to have to start changing if it's going to look right, and especially if it's going to look like it's the right distance away from the it's not like it's that hard to edit, to be fair. I mean, I could do it in 30 seconds. Excuse me, getting hiccups. Yeah, at least this background and the window and such is very rough, so I can reshape it. I don't know, was the old shape nicer though? Kind of was, it kind of was. I think this part needs to be lifted a little bit, but other than that, it's a bit lopsided. It still doesn't feel connected to me though. Somewhere between here, just doesn't feel connected. It feels like it's kind of floating off in some way. And I feel like this around the windows, what that's meant to be, and I don't feel like it's playing off very well. It's meant to be kind of that, I'm exaggerating the contours here, but you know, it's meant to be like that sort of shape, and it's meant to be just LED light shining out, kind of, or really smooth light shining out, kind of in every direction. So around the window is a band, light, is a light, there's a band of light source like that. But you know, it's just going to be overexposed to the camera, so it's just going to be white, completely white all the way around. And that's why it's going to be kind of difficult to show that shape, you know. It's probably ways, I don't know. Maybe it would be duller inside, just slightly, or on the outside. I don't know. It wouldn't look like a light source, I feel like, if it wasn't completely overexposed. It just looked like a really bright white something or other, you know. This is it's the part of the paint we reached it probably a little while ago. The part of the painting where the decisions become kind of more difficult to make. And sooner or later we'll be photoshopping this guy that we painted earlier. This is one of my favourite ones that I have painted of these things. Just a nice soupy reflections. And I love the design of the handles I ended up with. They look really nice and organic. But yeah, oh my god, what did we just do? I didn't even press anything. Please don't delete it. Sound. I don't know what that was. It was something on my don't know. It's just Krista bugging out, I suppose. Oh, but yeah, that is going to be photoshopped into here, I believe. This one might have to move up a little, you know. It looks like it's a little bit too far forwards. It wants to be more like there. I don't know. I do not know. So yeah, how do we make that feel more connected? We could put panel lines in this part of the wall as well. Maybe we can do some kind of stylistic wavy panel lines like that. How does that look? Might be a little bit difficult to pull off, but we're gonna have to put some kind of texture on the wall, some teeth. I was also, I keep thinking, and this would be really difficult to do, but I don't know, I keep thinking of this grid of little bumps. Let me see if I can just do a little sample of that here. Very basically. Yeah, so you see how it kind of looks like there's loads of like rivets. It's like the shape of a rivet head. I don't know if that will make it look a bit dated because it looks kind of like rivet heads. I could do larger ones. Just like little dome shapes on the wall. I don't know where. Just loads of them. And we dot them all over the wall. I don't know. Trying to avoid doing some kind of repeating pattern, you know. We'll come back to that. Let's address this, because this is just a little bit too far down, isn't it? It's not quite in a central spot on the floor anymore. Well, let's get the grid up before we do it. I'm going to carry on highlighting. Let me get the grid up. It's already lined up nice. Yeah, both of them are a little bit too low, aren't they? So Yeah, move them up one at a time. Wants to be there instead, I feel like. So it's actually quite far off. I always have a saying when I'm painting, off by a little, off by a lot. And that just means when you think you're off just a little bit, usually you're off a lot worse than you think. And you might as well just move that thing or repaint it, you know, and go the whole hog and properly change it. Rather than trying to moderately edit it just a little bit at a time, you know. I think that's good. So we're going to want to patch that back up now. It's crazy how just from, you know, painting with this one simple brush, you know, eventually we're going to have a really nice, realistic almost painting, you know, of something that never existed before. And I feel like this is kind of in a design style that probably never been seen before either. It's kind of like ultra retro futuristic that I do so enjoy painting. There you go, they look a little bit better now. What do we do with this wall? We could completely change. It could be anything, you know. It could even, we could change it to not even be windows and just be more spaceship stuff in the background. We can have whatever we like in that in that backdrop. But I think we should stick with the windows because it's normally my first thought is the one that I end up settling on. Shall I? What I could do is change these lights here, like that. Yeah, this pen's acting strange today. Damn. How do I connect this wall then? I could continue the darkness a bit like that. Does that look better? Yeah, why not? Make it quite dark. I think that looks a bit better. And I don't want this to be shiny metal either, because we've already got that shiny metal bandit. Should it be dark behind the light source as well? It would be nice compositionally to have it be dark behind the light source, but for obvious reasons it possibly wouldn't be. But sometimes you do get that if a light is shaped in just a way that it kind of blocks, you know, blocks itself from shining on the back wall. I don't know how this particular light source would achieve that. But if it looks good for the composition and it's good enough to fool people and it's good enough to fool myself when I look at it, that's usually a good enough criteria, you see. It's too dark now, though. It is too dark. We're gonna need to put something interesting now, I feel like. We need like a different approach, maybe, I don't know. Or I'll just work on some other stuff today and we'll figure out this background another day, maybe. It's like a puzzle that I can't quite crack, you know. What? It really is, the question is, what is this material here? I feel like it just is too featureless. But I don't want to add something on it that's going to make it look less futuristic because it's too rough and bumpy. Does that make sense? So we've really got to come up with some... I think we just need some interesting panel lines on it. But the panel lines need to not interact with the panel lines on this. What if I did some kind of other material that's on it? Like, this would be an insane material. Probably be better to upscale to paint this sort of thing, but what if I did loads of metallic discs like that in some way? But, well, actually, I do like the circle. I like the stacked circles, actually. You know what? We're doing it. We're going to do it. We're going to give this a pattern for sure, yeah. And it might be stacked circles, we'll see. Just a bit like that. This painting's going to take forever. This painting's literally going to take forever. Oh my god. I said I didn't want repeating pans. Can we make them bigger? If we make them bigger, it'll take a bit less time to paint them, so it might be wise to do so. Otherwise, we are going to be... I mean, it doesn't matter how long the painting takes, but it does for me right now, because I'm so, you know, such a little beginner. You know, it's just too much dedication for me. Too much, you know, struggle to get smaller projects finished at the moment. Just doing this massive, you know, and doing the floor on this painting too was already like a big enough tedium, and that's still not really done. Although it's further than I expected it to be at this point. Yeah, I like the look of it. I like the look of it. I'm cursed because I like the look of this this back wall pattern, and that means that I'm gonna have to go all in on it. Oof. And then we can make that one's a bit lopped. But we can make look even better by using a basic embossing technique like so. And that's how you can very quickly make stuff look very detailed easily, but it's not going to save us from some work still. The best way to paint these circles, by the way, you see these little gaps that are quite dark that we're filling in right now. It's kind of a better idea to learn that dot pattern and replicate the circles that way. Sometimes it is better to do it that way, so we'll try that at some point. The circles are all going to look uneven as well because they're being painted organically. Maybe I can try some of the same copy and paste techniques that I did on the floor here though. Yeah, you know what, I really should do. Make my my job a lot easier, that's for sure. See that technique as well, you copy the light source that you're about to paint on there. Should we do a highlight on the tops of these too? How will that look? Looks nice. We want I think we want them to be just a little bit darker in the middle like that, you see. A little bit less saturated. And this is the care and attention part really, I think. For these, it's going to take the bit of time is painting these middle surfaces. So that's going to be kind of like a large gradient, and then it's all got to match. You know, surfacing is an interesting subject for sure. How's that for a texture then? I think that's going to look good, you know. Yeah, so we're going to go with that. The only thing that dissatisfies me is how it's not like perfectly aligned to the place where it's going in, but I think I'm just going to do that and have it be like it's already as it is and then it's been cut into that shape. All the stuff is over it. Otherwise it's going to drive me insane trying to match the exact shape in an organic way, you know. In a nice topology. Okay, well, I mean, believe it or not, that was 30 minutes. Passed pretty quick, and I think I'm going to just call it there, because I like the idea of not burning myself out. You know, streaming, trying to stream as often as possible, but just for a little bit of time, and slowly growing that. So, yeah, I really like, I like some of the ideas we came up with today. I think what we did with the metal barrier here is really nice. And I'm very happy with this texture too. I can't wait to see that spread out across the whole, everywhere where it's grey. So it's going to be really, really quite fun. And I really think this is going to be a nice painting when it's finished. Genuinely, I think this is going to be one of my best. Seriously.